Good morning, welcome to Planet Mojo. This morning I'm going to give you a real good look at Blue Grama at the end of its first year. Might as well start at the very beginning here. Unfortunately, we got these big blocks on top of some of the grass here, but not a big deal, it'll grow back. This is Blue Grama right here, and that stuff right there is something else. I have no idea what it is, but you can see the Blue Grama is starting to go dormant. Once this Blue Grama turns all brown like this, the cool season grasses will remain green. Then you can spray those with glyphosate and kill them out, and the Blue Grama will take their place. What the heck we got there? Got a little fuzzy caterpillar there. You could see the seed heads here. There's not quite as many as there is a little further on. Lots and lots of seed heads. This first year, I'm just going to let the seeds drop on their own and help to fill in the areas that are a little bit thin. I sprayed this about, maybe 2 weeks ago with quinclorac, which has killed the annual weeds, but we're starting to get some other weeds growing back in here again. I'm going to come in here and hand weed in a little while, but we're not going to show that. Let me see if we can get... No, it doesn't look like the seeds are ready to come off yet. So you could see it's pretty thin here. When I seeded here, there was a bunch of logs and stuff coming through here, so I seeded around them. So there's a big empty space there. I'll probably reseed that next year. We'll see what the natural seeds do, but that's a pretty big empty spot, so I'll probably have to give that a little bit of help. Lots of seeds here. It's a very fine grass, and like most prairie grasses, it does not look the best after the first year. Prairie grasses generally take 2 to 3 years to come into their prime before they look really nice. They have a very distinctive eyelash looking seed head, and when the seed head is young like this one, they're kind of a purple color. They turn brown after a while. I'll show you some of that down here. There's a lot more seeds down here. Yeah, this will make a really nice grass for around buildings like this, because here and there I can come in and burn this and I don't have to worry about a huge out of control fire like you do with big grasses like that. That's Indian grass right there. That can make a big fire, but that's much further away from the buildings and that can be burned. Got a big foxtail there. I think I'll go in there and hand pull that stuff. There's some other stuff here. That looks like it right there. I know this is it. These are sedges, and I was actually going to plant sedges here under the tree. The Blue Grama, you can see it kind of stops right there. There's a little bit under the tree, but not much. And where this stuff is growing, I do believe that's a sedge as well. It's kind of easy to tell. They have like a triangular leaf. I believe that's a sedge right there. I know that's one. I yanked that out a little while ago and noticed that it was a sedge, so I replanted it. We'll go check on that one in a couple minutes. I think that stuff down at the bottom is sedges as well. So this area right here will eventually be mostly Virginia sedge in the shade of the tree, and Blue Grama over there, and Blue Grama going around the corner here. Yeah, that looks just beautiful. I'm sure it's gonna look really awesome next year. So now that's just plain old grass. That's not a sedge. I'll come in and yank that out. Look at all those seeds. This area right here has the most seeds. You got a lot of bare areas like this. Hopefully that'll all fill in next year, but it'll be easy enough to just scratch in some seeds here and there and get that all filled in. At some point, I'm hoping this becomes nearly maintenance free. When it gets real thick like that, hopefully it'll be too thick for the weeds to grow in there. And if you control the weeds for a few years, you won't have very many weed seeds to deal with. Yeah, stuff like this I can just pull by hand. That's foxtail. This is foxtail as well. So is that and that. Oh, got a blue grama growing right there. Take that foxtail out. Oh, this is all blue grama. That's cool. A little sparse on the side of this hill, especially like through here in the gravel. These short prairie grasses do not need a lot of water or fertilizer, so they're relatively maintenance free, but they are not easy to establish. Yeah, this is looking really nice. Get rid of this foxtail here. I'll spray some of this. I mixed up a batch of quinclorac because we have a ton of foxtail in the stuff that was planted not too long ago. I'll show you that as well. I'll spray the weedy grasses in places like this. If I yank this out, I'll pull out a bunch of the blue grama as well, and I'd rather not do that. Yeah, that's looking really nice. I can't wait to see this stuff next year. This entire area here, this whole corner and everything down that way, all of this dirt came from over there, and it's just all jumbled up. It's full of weed seeds. So after a couple years, once the weed seeds have gone away for the most part, the blue grama should establish really well here. Yeah, too bad. That's a weed right there, but this is blue grama. It's just growing on a little chunk of dirt that's held there by this moss. Yeah, that's all blue grama as well. Really cool. Yeah, this is gonna look really nice at some point. I'll have to get some phlox growing in here as well in some of these cracks. Get a little bit of color. Again, this is foxtail, and we don't want any seeds dropping. Yeah, it's very sparse under the tree here. The sedge will grow really good here though, so hopefully it establishes itself real well, but I can add some myself. Yeah, either that stuff is all going dormant or it's died. It's probably just going dormant. Alright, we'll get over to that newer planting now. I'll just come back and get this weeded a little bit later. There's not a whole lot of weeds to do. Again, this big chunk of grass right here is a weed, but I don't want to yank it out, so I'll wait till the blue grama turns dormant and spray that with glyphosate. Good, good, good. Alright, let's get to the newer planting. This is the newly planted area. Well, it's been about a month, but you could see there's blue grama in there everywhere, but there's also weeds in there everywhere. You gotta spray this with like quinclorac. You can cut it, but that's not gonna get rid of foxtail. It's best to just spray this stuff with quinclorac before the foxtail goes to seed. I'll get these little parts that I missed here sprayed, and then we'll move on to the other side of the gray water catchment pond. This stuff right here that I thought might be sedge is not sedge. It looks like just another type of foxtail. It's probably green foxtail. We have green foxtail, yellow foxtail, and giant foxtail. There are a ton of weeds in this, at least in this area. I know there's a lot of foxtail in it a little further down, but this has all kinds of weeds. And this quinclorac is a selective herbicide that will not kill blue grama, but it'll kill these weeds and weedy grasses. Quinclorac is marketed as a crabgrass killer, but it kills all weedy grasses, or most of them, and a whole bunch of broadleaf weeds. And like I said before, after a year or two of doing this, you do it less and less all the time, and after a while you can just get in there and hand pull the weeds. What a mess. I haven't seen any seed heads on this stuff yet. I don't know if it's going to be able to get seeds on it or not this year. This was planted about a month later than the other stuff, so it may not get seeds this year. I'll probably have to get in here and fill in the bare areas next year with some fresh seed. I do have a bunch of it, but it's kind of late this year to plant. Yeah, that's kind of cool. Got a couple big blue stems here, and this one right here is nearly as tall as that white oak behind it. That's insane. This little white oak was kind of buried in the woods. The woods came way out to here. I cleared all this area out, and this thing was real tiny. It's grown quite a bit since I cleared around it. You could see a stump right there, a stump right there. There's stumps all throughout here of all the trees that I took out. Those videos are like 4 years old if you want to check them out, but yeah, it's doing really well. Next year, or possibly later this year, I hope to take out a bunch of these dead trees right here and open this area up. It's going to look really nice back here. Alright, we're coming down to the end here. It's amazing how many weeds are in this, but after a few sprays and once the blue grama thickens a bit, there'll be less and less weeds. Give you a quick look at the buffalo grass. I actually weeded this yesterday, but look at how thick that is. It's just gorgeous. It's starting to go dormant, so it's browning up a little bit, but in the areas kind of like this, it is just a gorgeous grass. So that's it. The late planted stuff was really weedy, and I sprayed it with quinclorac. This is it all through here, with a couple weed grasses in there. See if I can show you a little better example. That's a little better example right there. Lots and lots of weeds in this stuff. And again, you spray it with quinclorac. Blue Grama is real sensitive to 2,4-D. You could spray it late in the year, but anytime during the year while it's green, it's best to just use quinclorac. Don't use 2,4-D on this. Alright, so that'll wrap this up. I'm going to do one more video on this when the grass is completely dormant. I'm not exactly sure when that's going to be because this is my first year with Blue Grama, but I'm guessing it's going to be, probably in about a month. So if you want to see that, make sure you subscribe and click on the update icon. If you have any questions or comments, make sure you put them in the comment section below. And if you share the video and or give it a like, it helps the channel out greatly. Thanks for watching and have a great day.